And now it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD by God Oliva. How you doing, JD?
I'm doing good, man. And guess what? We're live on StreamYard.
Oh, take it off, take it off. Ooh, oh man, you just got us fired again, bro.
I walk the razor's edge every time we do this show.
yeah, you do. Like it seems like every week something happens, and hopefully nothing too crazy happens this week on our third attempt at going live here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. So thank you everybody for joining us right here on Fight Game Media. This is Brace for Impact, and we just got done watching Slammiversary, man. And I gotta say, I thought they delivered. It was a hell of a show.
Really fun show. Really, really fun show. I have some qualms with how we got here and what we did when we were here, but man, I really enjoyed just about everything tonight as far as like in the ring and that kind of stuff goes. It was a really fun show.
Yeah, man. So some of the storylines going in, I didn't feel like were hitting quite right. Specifically, the Moose and Sami Callihan one, and then there were a couple of other matches that were just kind of thrown together because hey, we have this idea, we want to do this spectacular match, so we're just going to throw all these people into it. But I got to say, the matches for the most part all delivered. Tonight, and I didn't feel like there was any real downtime on the show. There were some lagging moments in the Queen of the Mountain match, which you could expect with how convoluted that match is and the rule set that it has.
Oh, yeah.
But I honestly, top to bottom, I'm very happy that I got to watch that show tonight. Just a fun experience that I had all night. Just a tremendous show to watch.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, because there was time this afternoon I was like, I don't know if I really want to watch this show. Like, I really thought that for a little bit, and I went along because we got this thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch, and it'll be fine. And it just, man, the show really hit because I was surprised by a lot of it. The work was really hard. Like everybody really wanted to make this a fun show. You could just tell.
Yeah.
You could just tell how much the talent really cared about it tonight, and it came through in just about every match.
Yeah, it definitely did. So we'll go ahead and just do a rundown of the show, and then if you're watching along with us on YouTube, go ahead and pop in the chat, and we'll pull up your comments, and we'll talk about those too. But so on the pre-show, we had Rich Swann defeating Brian Myers to retain the Digital Media Championship. Yep, definitely happened. So good job there, guys. And then the probably the more controversial match was Sharkboy winning the reverse battle royal. And the reason why I say it was controversial is because Steve Macklin and Chris Bay were in the match, and I was quite disappointed to see them stuck in there with a bunch of losers.
I have my qualms with this match will be reflected with the opening match. I was making hamburgers during this match. I'll be honest with you, because the reverse battle royal concept is one of the worst in professional wrestling, and it was treated as such by bringing Sharkboy back. Which again, Sharkboy, hey, TNA classic, love it, love Sharkboy. This is stupid, and it's beyond Macklin and Chris Bay.
Yeah, I honestly, I have no problem with him doing the reverse battle royal. It was meant to be a spoof on TNA. It was meant to be a fun thing. And for the most part, it was. They had Mike Jackson at 73 years old doing his walk all the way around the ring on the guardrail with Shira. We saw Sharkboy, obviously Johnny Swinger. We got Slash from the New Church, from the Disciples of the New Church. Yeah, Swing Daddy did get robbed. So, right. David Young, who was there in the early days in the fairgrounds. And then I think him and Elix Skipper were a tag team for a little while too.
I think so.
With Simon Diamond as their manager. He was there. So, it was cool to see a lot of those, those lower level kind of mid card comedy characters. I just didn't feel like Chris Bay and Steve Macklin should have been involved in it. And then of course they didn't win. So, they got eliminated in spectacular fashion. They were on the ring apron, and Chris Bay went for a reverse, I guess it was kind of a lethal injection, but not off the ropes. He jumped backwards to get into the diamond cutter there. And then they fell off the ring apron. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Sharkboy won. He defeated Swing and Dada. Then we had the opening video. It focused on the birth of TNA and some of the greatest moments in the history of the company. And then they had familiar voices of Jeff Jarrett, Bob Ryder, Mike Tenay, and Don West. And then switched to showcasing the current stars of Impact and what tonight will mean to them. And then we get started. We kick things off with the Ultimate X match, man. It was Mike Bailey winning, who I didn't pick him, but I think everybody thought that he was going to be the underdog here. But I was like, if Ace Austin doesn't win, the guy that I would have win would be Mike Bailey. So Mike Bailey defeated Ace Austin, Alex Zane, Andrew Evett, who was replacing Jack Evans. I made the comment a couple weeks ago when Jack Evans was announced for the match that they should have an ambulance standing by. Well, it turns out you need an ambulance standing by at GCW while he's wrestling too, because he got injured last night in his match. Kenny King and Trey Miguel, and there were some rough moments in the match where you could tell that they were all kind of cooperating, but you get that in these high flying, risk taking matches. But I thought it was a very good match, and I'm excited that Mike Bailey won.
Honestly, it's probably my least favorite Ultimate X match, of the ones that I've seen recently. And I don't know, this one, I think that I don't get Andrew Everett in this match. Like, I know Andrew Everett's got some TNA history, but Chris Bay is right there. Like,
yeah.
Wouldn't he have made the match a lot better? Like, and again, if he's not going to go over if he's not going to go over in the reverse battle royal, why not put him in this Ultimate X match? I don't get that. And again, I think it was one of the guys in our chat, I think it might have been Godella, said that this match really suffered from not having like a true ring general in there. And I kind of agree, because I know these matches are spot fests and they're supposed to be spot fests, but I didn't feel like much was holding it together other than, we get to A, we get to B, we get to C. I didn't feel much of this one. And I also don't like the booking going into it. Like, Speedball lost on the Go Home show, and it didn't feel like he was being built up for this, right? And I granted, Ace has been in Japan for a month, so we haven't had an opportunity to do stuff, but we could have been like building the story, because the two of them have a history coming into this. And I felt like that was just kind of ignored. And I almost felt like they were, TNA fashion. I felt like this was almost like Russo book. You didn't see that coming. I like Speedball. He's the biggest name on the indies right now, but I just don't feel like the promotion set up that ending.
No, yeah. I kind of had a hunch whenever he lost to Trey Miguel this week that he was losing. He took the clean pin. Now he won the title. And so what they're going to do is they're going to set up a Trey Miguel and Speedball Bailey match for the title. Because now Miguel has the victory over Speedball. So there's a naturally you can have them two wrestle each other. It seemed like, the whole Ace Austin Speedball feud has been forgotten about because he went to Japan, and now they're focused on the Alex Zane feud. Andrew Evett, I just didn't like. He's a good little wrestler. He's kind of a middle of the road kind of cruiserweight guy. He probably will wrestle for Subway gift cards if you'll offer them to him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not anybody that's going to draw any new fans in. So why they decided to replace Jack Evans with him is beyond me, because like you said, Chris Bay and Macklin, to his credit, who's also done some X Division stuff, would have fit in there nicely. And honestly, I think you take out Andrew Evan and Alex Zane and you put Bay and Macklin in there, and I think that's even a better match. Nothing against Alex Zane. I think Alex Zane is fine, but
no, the Alex Zane's fine. And again, he's feuding with Ace in Japan, and that's kind of I don't even remember if that was touched on in commentary or not, because it didn't seem like it was consequential to the match, right? It seems like it was almost like this is going on over here, but not here, right?
Right.
I like Alex Zane and I like Andrew Everett, but I think Macklin and Bay would have been better for this match in particular.
Well, because there are guys, right?
There are guys.
They're Impact guys. Like, if you're going to bring in an outsider and keep those guys off the show, those guys better be big ass names, and they better be.
Yeah.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
All right. Hey, technical difficulties.
One of us frozen. I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah, we were both frozen. Okay, am I back yet?
You're good. We're good. Welcome to Fight Game Media and Brace for Impact, where we don't know what's going on. Oh, everyone asked if Mike was dead. Okay, it wasn't on my end. Oh, Mike's dead again. Well, I wouldn't assume that Mike is going to talk about his love for Steve Macklin being a military guy and why he deserved to be in a showcase like the Ultimate X match. And I would say, Mike, I agree with you. Macklin is great and should be have a chance to showcase himself in this Ultimate X match, which he did not get, nor did Chris Bay, who's become the forgotten member of the Bullet Club. And yes, I do think Mike is dead.
All right,
Whoop.
I'm back.
Mike's
Dude,
back.
I'm back. I have no idea. I have the most expensive internet in all of Hawaii, and all of a sudden, right now, it decides to be a pain in the ass. All right, so
Aloha.
I think we killed the speedball point more than my internet. I think we killed it.
Well, while you were gone, I was singing Macklin's praises in that military way that I know you would appreciate. So I kind of
Yeah.
picked up the Macklin ball for you because I assumed that's what you would do.
Yes, I absolutely would. Okay. So after the match, the announcers then they actually did a sweet little tribute to Bob Ryder, which I thought was nice,
Yes.
and much deserved. Bob Ryder died a couple years ago, and so he probably would have been there at this show and would have been one of the top people there. So in the backstage area, so he kind of kept things going. And then backstage, all of a sudden, Scott Hudson from WCW fame. I know he had a cup of coffee with TNA, but I remember him as the WCW announcer on Worldwide and Main Event and all those Saturday and Sunday morning TBS shows. So it was cool to see Scott Hudson back. He did a little bit of TNA stuff back in the day, but.
Do you remember when Scott Hudson did that one WCW WWE match?
Yeah, it was him and Arn Anderson.
Team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Illo he's got a little comment in the comment section that I'm not going to put up on screen because I don't want to get fired. So sorry, man, but I agree. That would be that one.
I went ahead and showed it and I just took it down immediately. All right. So yeah, Hudson, he's with the Impact Originals. Hudson congratulates the Machine Guns on being the most impactful tag team. They did a little voting thing on Twitter. And then Hudson attempted to find out who their fifth man was, but was unsuccessful. Nick Aldis said he had this long list of people who were willing to do it, and he was quite happy with their choice. So we'll find out who the choice was here in a little bit. And then we cut to a video promo, which I think I predicted this one. I thought that we would get Sting on this show in some form or fashion, and we got him via video. And this was great to see Sting here.
Loved it. I mean, like, Sting is the guy that really kind of legitimized this promotion, right? When it first really got going, is bringing Sting in showed that they weren't just an indie, that they were trying to paraphrase WCW, play with the big boys, and having him, and he was here for a long time. So having Sting come back and say something nice was fantastic. It was, I don't know, I was surprised a little bit to see it, to be honest with you, but happy surprise.
Sting was with TNA for over a decade, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then how long?
No, not quite, because he comes in 2004, but he doesn't come back till 2006.
Okay. So he was like 2006 to like 2013.
14, I want to say like early 14 he left. So about 6 years, which is a good chunk of Sting's career, to be honest.
So no, that'd be 8 years.
8 years, I'm sorry. Math has never been my thing.
Yeah. Next, we got Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. They defeated the Influence. Thank God, got the belts off the Influence there. You know what? I have been tough on this feud, and I've been tough on the singles matches that have led into this feud. I enjoyed this match. I have to say, I actually thought this was pretty good. A decent little match here with I believe Rosemary picking up the victory for their team, and now we got new tag team champions.
I have nothing bad to say about this match. I didn't like.
Do you have anything good to say?
I was not bored.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it. Like, I mean, like I said, I like Rosemary as a talent, but normally when she does stuff, I tend to check out because it's usually spooky, and I don't like spooky. But this was not spooky. This was just wrestling, and Taya's pretty good. Like, I think I don't know. Maybe you think she's slowing down a little bit, Taya? Am I crazy on that?
It's either that or I think didn't she just come in from Tijuana? So
she did just come in from Tijuana. That's true. She was she worked Triple Mania last night. That's true.
Yeah, she's got a big match coming up against Thunder Rosa soon. So I thought it was pretty good. You know what? If the match like technically was not that great, but the crowd is into it, I call that a win.
No,
and I
agree.
felt like the crowd was really into this match. I think that everybody was pretty much over.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. It was
Yeah.
fine. And again, I'm no Tennille Dashwood Madison Rain fan as a tag team, but I was I was like I wasn't bored during this match. I was mildly entertained. It was fine. Like it was perfectly acceptable match.
Yeah. We got a comment here, Dre Ayomin. I hope I pronounced that right, Dre. But show banged so hard. Don West and style vids made me cry. Yeah, the Mike Tenay and Don West stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit, man. That
That was
really
great.
got me.
Me
That
too.
was fantastic. And the next we go to a promo featuring Kurt Angle. If Kurt didn't just have double knee surgery, I think he probably would have been there, honestly,
Hmm.
because he's still a free agent. I don't think it would have taken that much of arm twisting. Hell, his kids live in Nashville, right? With the
Hmm.
Jarretts.
That's
So
true.
I don't think it would have been a big deal for him to come. But I thought that it was really cool that he sent in a video. So it was always good to see Kurt talking about his biggest opponents and his biggest matches in TNA. Did Kurt Angle make Impact pay for a cameo on the app? Oh, you know what? They might have actually. Kurt loves his money. Kurt probably made more money off TNA than anybody else in history. So it's like Kurt and
Fair,
Kevin Nash.
fairly accurate. And Kurt, he's all Conraded up now, so you
Yeah,
got to squeeze every dollar out of the audience you can. $30 a month for access to
yeah,
everything they've got.
yeah.
Only
I'm
$30.
surprised. I'm surprised when Kurt was talking, we didn't get a mortgage commercial in the middle of it. So
Say with Conrad.com.
yeah. Let's not give him any more commercial time here. This next match, Sammy Callahan against Moose in a Monsters Ball match. I predicted this from the beginning. The feud, the story going into it, I didn't think was very good. It's built around, hey, Moose broke Sammy's leg, so Sammy keeps chasing him around and shutting off all the lights, thus making Moose scared. So that was the whole premise of the feud, right? And then I guess the last 24 hours they were locked in what do they call solitary confinement, both of them, without any food or water. At one point causing Moose to steal a hot dog from a lady who ended up getting kicked out, I guess. It's
That
probably
was the best. Apparently that was real. Apparently I thought that was a great little old school heel move. Apparently that was really a lady who bought a hot dog and
yeah.
Moose stole a hot dog from a fan and ate it. What a heel.
Part of me wants to believe that's real, and I know there
Me
are
too.
reports coming out that that's real. I think that lady might just be a damn good actress and is all in on it. So
Don't care. Don't care. The reports are coming in saying it was real. I'm choosing to believe the work. God damn it.
yeah, this match over delivered.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
thought it was gonna be pretty good, and I thought probably second best match of the whole night. Honestly, I have like three favorites that I keep in my head. I keep picking as number one. This is like in that top three. Probably one of the better Sami Callihan matches I've ever seen. I think it's right up there with Kenny Omega last year, with just the drama and everything. Look, the Sami Callihan matches are always the same. You're gonna get the tacks, you're gonna get the boards, you're gonna get barbed wire. There's some blood spots. The Moose getting into the thumbtacks was tremendous. Moose going into the barbed wire was insane. Kicking out at one on the second pile driver really popped me. I didn't see that one
Me too.
coming. So I thought it was great, man. And look, there's a mean person in the chat right now making fun of old Sammy's weight, but brother broke his leg, can't
Hmm.
run. All right, maybe he could die, but he can't run. So obviously he's not going to be too slim right now. But what did you think of this match?
I said it was going to be like a Sammy Callahan match. I didn't think it was going to quite be like the old Abyss Monsters Ball matches. And I don't know, maybe I was
Yeah,
wrong. I think it did have a lot. It did have a lot of that DNA. And I was kind of thinking about this too. How Abyss was basically a Mick Foley tribute act, if you will.
yeah.
I think that Sammy Callahan is kind of that too, a little bit. I never really thought of
Oh,
him like that before until I watched this match. But Sammy Callahan is absolutely like a 2020s version of Mick Foley, and it's.
yeah.
I didn't want to like the match because I'm tired of Plunder, and I say it all the time on the show. I'm sick of Plunder, but when it's done well, it's good. And I thought this match was done really well. And it's like Moose getting taxed in the ass made me laugh. I mean, I can't ask for
Yeah.
much more.
Yeah, he got tax in the ass, and in a tribute to Jeff Jarrett, he wore white pants, so I thought that was kind of cool, which
The blood.
helped extenuate the blood
Hmm.
coming from Sammy Callahan's forehead. So yeah, I thought the whole thing delivered. I really enjoyed the match. One of the matches of the night. At one
It's fun.
point, at one point, Moose went for a spear and dove inside of a trash can. I thought that was pretty clever, a
And then
pretty
he,
clever
and
spot.
then he did the old wrestling thing where you got to move your legs really slow,
Yeah,
like you're trying to kick out of the trash can, which is
yeah,
stupid, but I love it. Like it made me laugh, like Tom and Jerry style.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I agree. I agree with this. Moose dragging him through the tax was sick. Even though Sammy is wearing a leather vest over his back, I can't feel him. I did like it in theory. It looked cool.
yeah. Well, the crowd went insane for it. That
They
that
did.
was that was that was pretty awesome.
It was.
Yeah, I loved everything about the Monsters Ball match. Sorry, I'm reading here on the Wrestling Observer. I'm reading their rundown, and I don't know
Mhm.
that they actually finished it. Oh, they did. Hold on. For some reason, it
Mike
just ended right there. All right, so we go to the next match. We
Mike's
got
cheat sheet, Wrestling Observer newsletter. Yes.
yes, we got to the Good Brothers. This was probably my most surprising finish of the night. The Good Brothers defeating the Briscoes to become the new World Tag Team Champions. Um, I probably not the finish none of us were hoping for, but JD, the floor is yours, sir. You were the only one that I know of that actually predicted this.
I
So
said it.
go
I
ahead,
said it.
sir.
I said it on the show. I said the Good Brothers are going to win this match and bring the titles to the door. And I think you're going to see them on Dynamite this week. They will be in Chicago this Sunday with those titles because Carl is also the never open weight champion. So
Yeah.
I was right.
You know what? I thought you were 100% wrong. I didn't think that there was a chance in hell, but I can actually see it now. And honestly, I kind of want to see it because I need AEW fans to complain about some shit. You know what I mean? Like they always have all the good stuff. They got CM Punk, they got Bryan Danielson, they get this big New Japan show. Now I want them to be saddled with the fucking Good Brothers for a show. So look, keep the Good Brothers for a couple episodes. Let's hear you guys bitch a little bit.
Man, there's going to be 18,000 in the building. Big Carl's got the working boots on.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was Ella in the chat said he wanted to see Anderson out there actually trying to count people in the stands.
Yeah.
10 people would have got that joke, but it would have been great. It would have been absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So I thought the match was pretty good. Look, both these teams are really good. The Briscoes had their working boots on for sure. I thought Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows were both pretty good. They get the victory here, and then afterwards, I think what made the moment even better, like it kind of took away from my disappointment in the Good Brothers winning, was we got to see America's Most Wanted return. And they came down, they brought some beers. Chris Harris just got a DUI, not drinking, so good for him. But they came down with some beers and they all drank some beers and toasted each other in the ring. Three, I guess, well, you have America's Most Wanted, one of the great tag teams in TNA history, the Briscoes, the greatest tag team in Ring of Honor history. And then, of course, the Good Brothers are also there. So there you go. I'm just trying to kill some time here while JD tries to get the dog. Here we
Well,
go.
Ella asked
Astro
for
always got the
Astro.
cone.
Yeah, he got fixed this week. So we're
Oh,
trying to keep. Oh, thanks, buddy. We're trying to keep him away from his privates at the moment. So
yeah.
that's for our man Ella who wanted to see Astro. He's hanging out with me.
Yeah. Well,
All right, buddy.
welcome to the show, Astro. Astro is a big crowd pleaser here. My dog also has a big cone of shame, but she would not stop barking, so I had to put her downstairs. So
I get
yeah,
it. I get it.
she's downstairs hanging out.
Astro's being a good boy. We got him. We had him like a water buffalo horn is what it says. I don't know if it's real or if it's a gimmick, but my
Mm,
wife picked it up at PetSmart and he's quite enjoying it.
yeah, that's awesome. So next we go to a video promo, and this one, man, this one damn near got the fountain going in my eye sockets. They got a little misty eyed. It was a video promo shown featuring Don West and Mike Tenay, kind of detailing their history in the company and just talking about how amazing they are. I really, really love this. And then I was kind of like, a little misty eyed. And then when Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywalt, when they cut to them, they're all misty eyed.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm lucky there ain't nobody in the room with me, man, because this could be a bad situation.
Dude, when they cut back to Tom, I thought Tom was crying. Like, and then when
Yeah,
he
he
finally
looked like it.
spoke, he handled it. Like he just put it right away, And I was like, holy jeez. I thought they were gonna tell us that Don West died when they cut back to him. Like the way that video
Yeah,
was and the looks on their faces, I was like, oh no, we lost Don. Like it was the first thought that went through my mind. I'm glad I'm wrong. But
right.
that was not a hard thing to watch, but a great thing to watch because remember back, I don't think people appreciated Don West in his era because he was so different than anything else we had seen before or since. There's never been another Don West. But I think now that we're, years after the fact, people are looking back and be like, man, Don West was awesome. And he was. So
Yeah.
it's good
He
stuff.
was fun, and I think a lot of the
Yes.
nerds hated him because he wasn't like a technical wrestling announcer. He didn't know the names of all the holds.
He
He
was
just
sitting
like,
next
look,
to
this shit
Mike
is awesome.
Tenay.
Yeah. And so people would downplay his greatness because, he wasn't supposed to be something that they wanted him to be. But really, it was really a handful of dorks. That's all it was that didn't like Don West. None of those people are sex havers, right? They're not fans of Brace for Impact. They're not cool like the people that watch this show. So I thought Don West was tremendous. And people always complain about Mike Tenay not being a good play-by-play. I thought he was a great
He was a
play-by-play. I
great
love Mike Tenay.
play-by-play guy.
Yeah,
Mike was
love
a
Mike
great.
Tenay.
Yes, he was great in WCW, and he was better in TNA because he had been doing it for a while at that point. Like I think that TNA. Now, granted, they had some bad stuff they had to commentate from time to time, but as a
Yeah,
team, I think they were absolutely great, and it was good to have a video where you unapologetically said, you know what, these guys were great, and appreciate them, acknowledge them.
acknowledge them absolutely. Um, next we got the Impact Originals. Another Bischoff is the biggest complainer of the group. Thanks, Illa. We had the Impact Originals, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Frankie Kazarian, Nick Aldis. I'll hold the name for just 1 second against Honor No More. And they introduce both teams, and then all of a sudden, Aunt Dixie comes out and gives everybody show some gratitude for the 20 years of TNA, talking about the early days, thanking all the wrestlers, thanking all the fans and performers. And then she proceeds to introduce the 5th member of Team Impact, who happened to be Davey Richards, of all people. Davey Richards from MLW. Okay, gun to your head. When Dixie Carter comes out to make the announcement, who did you think it was going to be?
Samoa Joe, and for a moment I entertained Double J, and then I said maybe AJ because they made it like it was going to be a big thing, and then it was Davey Richards, which is unfair because I like Davey Richards. He's really good. I like the Wolves. That whole thing makes perfect sense in storyline, especially because the Wolves have a bigger history in Ring of Honor than they do in Impact. So the whole thing, it made sense. But I mean, like, the problem was they set this up. It's like, oh, mystery opponent. Who's it going to be? An Impact original? A world champion, perhaps? And it's like, oh, it's Davey. That could have been on TV. If they had advertised that to me on TV, I'd have been perfectly fine with it. It would have made sense. I'd have been like, oh, great, cool. But if you're going to deliver, oh, you lie. You lie, Illa. You are a
got Illa in the chat saying he always thought it was Davey.
Liar. Liar. And it was, again, that's fine. Match was great. Match is my favorite match of the night. But the surprise didn't. If you're going to make it a surprise, it better be a good surprise. And
so it's another example of Impact under delivering on a surprise. They didn't need to make Davey a surprise. They could have just told us he was in the match, and I would have been happy with that.
No,
right? But because they got the wheel spinning, right? They got the wheel spinning. Like, who's it going to be? It could be this guy. It could be this guy. It could be this guy. And then they bring in Davey, and I am a Davey Richards fan. I love Davey Richards. Great wrestler. I hope Impact gets more dates on the guy. I know he's working with MLW, but I'm a big fan of his. But when you start talking about a big surprise and everybody's all excited, and then they bring back Dixie for the first time in 5 years, and we're about to make this huge announcement, and then it's Davey, I was like, oh, come on. That should have been, like you said, a Samoa Joe level moment, but it wasn't that. That aside,
Sam, I can't call you a liar, Sam, but I will raise my eyebrow.
yeah. We know Illa's a liar, but we can't call Sam a liar. Yeah.
But okay, no, I get the reason. Scott explained it. They had Team Impact had representation across wrestling, right? You had Kaz from AEW, you had Aldis from I almost said New Japan, Aldis from NWA, you had Davey from MLW, Sabin is there, and Alex does whatever Alex does. He's all over the place. So it made sense. But you could have just sold me. You could just sold the match to me like that and not had to have the surprise.
Right. Yeah. So I felt like the surprise was underwhelming. However, I think that the match was absolutely tremendous and totally lived up to the hype. The match itself with all the competitors in the match. Just tremendous, tremendous stuff. We got the first of two Brian Hebner bumps, which caused Brian Hebner's dad Earl, whose twin brother just passed away this weekend, Dave Hebner. Rest in peace, Dave. But he came into the ring at one point, and he actually is the one that counted the finish. We had D'Lo coming in for a surprise, and he taken the heat away from all the heels. And I thought the whole thing, just the entire match, was an enjoyable 25 minutes of action. Just great stuff.
Dave and Earl Hebner are the cornerstones for the most watched American professional wrestling match ever.
Yes.
Andre and Hulk Hogan.
33 million viewers watched the screw job in Indianapolis, right?
Correct. Very much correct. So it was cool. Rest in peace, Dave Hebner. Glad Earl was out there tonight with his son. He looked like he was having fun. That was a nice thing. This match ruled, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
9 of the guys looked fantastic, and Nick Aldis was there too.
Yeah. So I really do hope Nick Aldis gets his money back from whoever taught him how to throw those punches, because they were awful, bro. Like it looked like he was his first ever match when he's throwing some of them punches. It looked bad, bro.
Dude, he did. It was so funny because like Davey was in there, he looks great, and the machine guns were on top, looking fantastic. Like Kazarian is as good as he ever was. I don't know, more guys are great. PCO's out there killing himself, doing these spots that I think he's dead every time they hit that flux capacitor. And I went, oh my god,
PCO on PCO.
Yeah, PCO landed on his head. He's dead. He's dead. I thought PCO died, and he just kicks out. I mean, like, and then Aldis comes in.
Yeah, throwing some of the worst punches.
Worst punches I've ever seen. I was like, oh my, this. I don't know what that man has on Billy Corgan, but it's working.
Yes. Yeah. So that flux capacitor was intense, man. Like I was on the edge of my seat because PCO like was slipping on top. I thought they were going to fall outside the ring, and then they were able to get their footing, and then they hit the move, and then PCO lands right on top of his head, and then he just keeps going because he's the Frankenstein.
He actually is
and
Frankenstein.
Just doesn't feel pain. He legitimately is Frankenstein. But yeah, I thought this was the first of 2 love letters to TNA. This match, I really, really tremendous. And it was also, kind of they had a lot of Ring of Honor history in here. I mean, you had 2 of the great Ring of Honor champions of all time going squared away with Matt Taven and Davey Richards. Sorry, I was holding on to that damn Taven joke and I lost it. Sorry.
Oh Lord. Well, I was going to say yes. Ring of Honor, TNA, 2002, both at the same time, had this bizarre intertwining history, and you just completely torpedoed that. But you're not wrong. Those guys, they were both champions.
They were definitely both champions.
That was a thing. That was a thing.
But Impact got the W, and how could you not at this point? I think I got a prediction for you. I think with PCO taking the loss here, I think they've finally kicked him out of the group.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, I almost think it's time to kill the group myself, because I was looking at this. I'm like, yeah, here's why. There's 3 guys in there, because I'm watching Vincent, and they're like, man, Vincent's good. Vincent's underrated, and he's actually a really good character that I think could do something. And Eddie is Eddie, right? And then I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? Matt Taven's a former world champion. Mike Bennett was a main eventer in this company before. Kenny King is also there. Like, I think any of those 3 guys could be a main eventer on their own, because who the heck's going to wrestle Josh now, right?
Well, I think we'll get, so we'll take some questions. I know one of the questions is where does Josh go from here now? And I have been saying the same thing for a while. I think I know exactly where they want to go. I don't think they kill the group. I think they change it a little bit. They get rid of PCO, and maybe even Vincent. Vincent goes and does his own thing. But it's time for PCO to be a like upper tier baby face, fighting a lot of these monster villains.
Who wants to boo that guy?
No, you can't. He's not a heel.
No, he's unbooable. How is he not dead?
Yeah. He's one of the most incredible wrestlers I've ever seen.
Right. You know what I'd like to see? It'd be fun. A PCO Vincent feud. And then I hate the spooky stuff, but those 2 guys could make it a lot of fun. Because one, they're both really good in the ring, and it doesn't have to be like, Undead Realm spooky. It could just be weird. And I would be fine with that. I want to see something else with these guys, man. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna get some of that. We'll see here in the here coming up here soon. Hold on. I had to put this up here because it's a compliment to me. Hey, first time viewer, you guys are great. Followed you both on Twitter, Mike. I'm actually wearing the same shirt. All right. Hey, shout out Nature Boy Ric Flair shirts. Appreciate the comment there, True Heel Romeo. Thank you for that.
Thanks, man.
So next we go to one of the most up and down matches, I would say. It was kind of like at one point the crowd was absolutely dead for this match, but it was the Queen of the Mountain match for the Knockouts World Championships. Um, this was, as expected, a ginormous, convoluted mess, and there were many dead spots at times. There was a couple of botches I thought were pretty spectacular. I can't. Daniel Spencer's the name of the referee. At one point, he counts 2 on Tasha Steele, so she's being pinned by Chelsea Green. Tasha doesn't kick out. They look at him like he messed up the spot, which he did, and then he just counted 3 again. And
That
then
happened.
and then they just put her in the penalty box. So that was pretty funny. But with all of the bad stuff that happened in the match, there was some crazy stuff. What, like, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo doing the big Dudley Boys spot where they're being pushed off the tall ladder from the ring into the table outside, the double tables outside. I thought that was pretty cool. Mia Yim took a really hard I think a power bomb or a body slam onto a ladder that looked pretty sick. So tons of crazy stuff happened. Jordan Grace gets the win. What do you think of this match?
We got a nice little tweet that's gonna exemplify what I thought. When Deanna and Chelsea crashed that table, I actually stood up and went, Jesus! Like, that was one of my favorite bumps of the night. It was I did not like the match, but I
No.
enjoyed the car crashes that
Yes.
happened. I
Yes.
thought this was convoluted and stupid, and I laughed out loud 3 or 4 times at the ridiculousness, but that's kind of the King of the Mountain in general. Like, I'm of the mind that King of the Mountain is as dumb as the Reverse Battle Royal. But again, TNA, we're embracing our Impact heritage here, so we got to have it. And I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah.
What you think of the finish?
I like the finish. So just because Grace won, right? But it was confusing. The whole match was confusing. At one point, Mickey James like cheats to keep Chelsea Green for no reason from climbing up the ladder. I know they're like enemies, but Mickey's supposed to be a ref. And all of a sudden, she turns into heel ref from AAA, and she pulls Chelsea Green down, gives the belt to Mia Yim, who then doesn't win. And then whenever Chelsea almost dies, Mickey then goes and checks on her because she's like, oh shit, Chelsea almost died just now. Let me go check on her. So she turns back into being a decent referee at that point. And then there at the end, Jordan Grace and both Jordan and Tasha pin Mia Yim at the same time. And they said they're both eligible. But then Grace then beats up Tasha, who gets pinned for a 3rd time, and then Grace becomes eligible again. I don't know, like she was becoming eligible twice at that point, and then she just climbs up and wins. So but it was very TNA.
Yes, very TNA. Again, I said on our show last week, I don't feel like we're doing enough with Jordan Grace, and then she wins the title, and that bugs me because, again, like the speedball thing, I just don't think we're building these people up right to become champions. Like, I don't like champion out of the blue, especially twice. Like, if you do it for speedball, okay, but at least like build to Jordan, this being Jordan's moment, so the crowd like really feels it. Again, they love Jordan. What's not to love? But I didn't care for the booking. I felt like she was like kind of the 5th person in this match. Like, none of the build revolved around Jordan, and then she's the one that wins. And I'm like, that's so sloppy, especially when you know where you're going with the story. There's no reason you have to do that. You could actually like build to it, and like we do good video packages, right? Impact does great video packages. There's no reason why we couldn't have Jordan being like, "This is my moment to get it back." Because there was this great little article got released where she said, "I was champion during the pandemic, and nobody remembers it, and I got ignored." And she's right. She's right. Mm-hmm. She's like the Moxley AEW championship run here in Impact. Like, why wouldn't we make that the story so that when the win happens, we're like, yes, Jordan, that's what should happen. Again, I don't get it. Right result, but the build was bad, and that bugs me about it.
Yeah. I totally agree. But I'm excited that Jordan Grace is the champion once again. I think she's going to be a tremendous champion. As big a fan as I am of Tasha Steele, I felt like her in-ring work as champion was not great. Character work was tremendous, but the in-ring work was not great, and there was a big drop off from even from Mickey, I would say. But when Grace gets in the ring with some of the other knockouts, there's a level shift there. Like it goes into like another gear. And Samantha Shipman says maybe forgetting her all match long was proving the point of her previous run. Yeah, probably.
I like what you're saying, Sam, but I don't give Impact that much credit for being on the ball with the storytelling. I don't think
Yeah,
they think that far in advance. But I like, I'm a writer. I like critical analysis, and I
yeah.
like what you're saying about it. But don't give Scott D'Amore that much credit.
You want to know what excites me though about this Jordan Grace title match or title win here is
Oh
I
God, I'm
see
afraid.
on the horizon. I see on the horizon Grace and Masha Slamovich at Bound for
Ooh,
Glory. I think that's where you go. I think that you continue to build up the two monsters, and then you get them in a big title match, either main or co-main at Bound for Glory. I think that's awesome.
yeah, I'm on board with that. Been saying the thing about Masha. Masha's been here since November. Let's do a thing with her. A
Yeah,
thing, anything, something.
yeah. Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, so they announced that Bound for Glory is going to take place on October. Oh, sorry. Before that, backstage, Gia Miller introduced Goldilocks straight from a biker bar. Goldie thanked her and then introduced the most impactful knockout of all time, Gail Kim. Gail then thanked Impact Wrestling for allowing women to be a part of the company.
I
So
don't.
then
I
we
don't
go
even.
to a.
I don't know what that means.
I think Godilla might have been drinking tonight. I think.
I'm like, okay, cool. But to be fair, Goldie always looked like she came out of a biker bar. Like that was
That is true. Yeah.
kind of Goldie. Like,
Yeah.
and to be fair, when she was with Eric Watts in storyline, he also looked like he was from a biker bar. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so long term booking.
There you go. Absolutely. So we get a promo for Bound for Glory taking place on October 8th. On October 8th. Oh, hold on. We got Retro
Wait,
Neon with a
we have
super chat.
we have
Hey
super
guys,
chats.
questions. Yeah. What?
I had no
Hey,
idea.
bring. I didn't know we
Cool.
had super chats. This is great. Garrett, bump us up and pay, buddy.
That's
He
right.
goes, hey guys, question. What can Impact do to grow their audience back to at least 2015 numbers? And do you think creative should have a shakeup? I think it's always good to shake creative up. I think anytime you can get some new blood there, that's always a good thing because they need some fresh ideas, I would say. Although 2022, I would say, since I've been covering Impact, and I've been covering Impact since 2018. Since 2022, this has been the best year since I've been covering them. Okay. Now the other question, and I'll let JD jump in here and answer as well. What can Impact do to grow their audience back to at least 2015 numbers? Well, you can't do that on Access TV. There's just a lot of limitations there. Pop TV, I think they're on Pop TV in 2015, and Pop TV is probably on about 30 more
Destination.
percent homes.
They were on
Destination America,
Destination.
I think even Destination America is a bigger channel than Access TV. So that becomes a struggle. So I don't know that they can do that there. So go
Here,
ahead, JD.
okay, let's talk about TV ratings. You specifically said what can they do to get 2015 numbers, and we hear this a lot with regards to AEW too. Is what can they do to get X number? Here's the thing: 2015 is 7 years ago. The
Yep.
number of homes with cable television in the last 7 years has plummeted. I can't tell you the exact statistic over the top of my head, off the top of my head, but it's something like 15%.
Yep.
Like, so nothing is doing what they did in 2015. WWE isn't doing what it did in 2015. I think we
No.
have to abandon this idea that growing as a company comes along with growing the audience numbers, right? Because we're getting, and it's not just wrestling, but you're getting a smaller percentage of homes with cable. So these Nielsen numbers are going to be warped. And like you said, we're starting at a disadvantage only because we're on Access TV, which is in significantly fewer homes. Nobody knows how to grow television numbers. That's why these sports products are getting such big contracts because they are shrinking at a smaller rate, or in the cases of the NBA and the NFL, growing back to where they were years ago. Right. So
Yeah.
it's hard. Nothing is growing. Where you try to grow is pay-per-view and ticket sales. That is an issue. Now, there's where you
Mm.
could say, should creative have a shakeup? And I voice my issues with Scott and creative there all the time. I think creative's very, very sloppy. I think that the guys and girls tonight wrestled beyond the booking. I really do.
Yeah.
I think a new voice could help Impact, but I don't think that focusing on 2015 ratings is realistic.
No, and they're growing their audience in different ways. They're growing it through streaming platforms and things like that, and so growing their Impact Plus audience, growing their YouTube subscription audience, and then they're also on Pluto, and then they have all these international deals. So they gotta grow those things as well. But Access TV numbers, I don't think you're going to grow the numbers on there at
And
all.
by the way, thank you for the super chat, which we didn't know was a thing. The rest of you bums got to kick in now.
Yeah, we've been answering all these questions for free.
For free, like a bunch of suckers, and we're gonna do it again.
Hey, hold off on this question. I'm going to get
All
to
right.
it immediately. Let's go to the main event first.
Oh yeah, let's talk
let's
about
go
the
to the main
show.
event because I think we had a tremendous main event. It was a Josh Alexander versus Eric Young, and this was the second match of the night that was an absolute love story to the history of TNA. We saw them pull out some AJ Styles moves, Christopher Daniels moves, Abyss moves. Who else was Samoa Joe was represented in this match?
Ken Shamrock, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, with the ankle lock. Yep, absolutely.
And Josh did the angle slam to Joe Doring through the table, which Joe apparently in the middle of the bit said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. He said, nope. I'm my whole body hurts and it's about to be hurting even worse. And he made Alexander earn that fucking move.
He really did. Josh muscled big ass Joe Doring through that table, and it was really Joe's ass that broke the table, which it was an ugly looking spot, but it's fine. He went through a table. I almost didn't want him to go to the table because I feel like we saw so much plunder tonight.
Yeah,
I couldn't get the word out, but it worked.
Oh, yep. We also had the stroke from Jeff Jarrett. True Heel Romero.
Right.
Thanks for the reminder. And then you also hit him with the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Young hit Josh Alexander with the guitar. So this was a old school, another TNA style main event where they had the ref bump. They threw the powder into Brian Hebner's eyes. Violent by Design gets involved, and then excuse me, we had the whole guitar shot, which was the Jeff Jarrett staple. I think every main event that Jeff Jarrett was ever in had a ref bump, interference, and guitar shot, and some type of cheating move from the outside. Every match he was ever in.
He's from Memphis.
That's true. Yeah,
he's a Memphis guy. Why would you expect any less? Talking about Jerry Jarrett's kid. Heroes Jerry Lawler. Of course he did.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy this match, man, and I love the ending to it. And with Josh Alexander getting the victory here, Alexander is the guy here in the company, man. So what did you think of the match? And then we'll give our final thoughts on the show, and then we'll go to questions.
God, I loved it. It was so great.
Yeah.
This was I fought this for weeks when it's like, Eric Young. I love Eric Young, but I don't feel it. And then every week, Eric Young and Josh were both doing work to get me invested in this match. And kicking and screaming the entire way in because I wasn't feeling it, but they made me a believer. This match was awesome. It ruled. It was two guys that loved this particular company, right? Eric Young's been here since 04, 05, something like that.
Maybe before he was on the Fox Sports shows, and I think he was in the fairgrounds. So we're looking at 03, 04. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to remember when they first did the Team Canada thing. Yeah. So at least 04, 03 at the earliest. So he's big, at least since the Asylum days, right? So this dude loves this company, right? And I love when they do the retrospectives on Eric Young because you see all the different roles he's played and everything he has done to help this place out. And to see this match be such a love letter to TNA and such a love letter to this company that should be dead 10 times over, but somehow survives like a cockroach. It was awesome, man. I loved it. And the fact that I don't get why Brian Hebner did not disqualify Eric Young after eating a face full of yellow dust, which was yellow. Was interesting. But
I mean, Eric Young isn't the one that did it. Eric isn't the one that did it. Cody Deaner went rogue. Deaner went rogue, man.
That should still be a disqualification.
Sorry, I'm trying to help out Hebner. That was the second ref bump of the night. So
I know we don't have a lot of referees in TNA. I almost called it TNA again. So we got to do what we got to do. But again, this was a fun match, man. This was a fun match. I really loved it. Yeah,
fun match. And overall, this was one of my favorite shows I've seen from Impact in a long, long time. Hard to Kill earlier this year, 2021 is right up there. Slammiversary 2018 is near and dear to my heart. But it's one of my favorite shows that I've ever watched from Impact. It was just a fun show. You're probably not going to get any 5-star matches, but you don't have to. I thought it was just great. The whole card, up and down. So
yeah, all
right, so let's go to some questions here. So if you guys are in the chat, pop in some questions. We got us for, see, what time is it? You got us for a few more minutes. All right, so we got official Lil Silver. How come New Japan pulling more viewership than Impact Wrestling? And they're on the same dang channel on Access TV after Impact, so people keep skipping. Okay, so New Japan does far less viewers on Access than New Japan does. I cover the ratings every week, and I think the most viewed episode of New Japan is like 80,000, and that would be extremely low for Impact to do something like that. So it's actually quite the opposite. But what New Japan is doing better than them is actually selling tickets to their shows, and I think that's just because New Japan has more of a reputation for putting on really good live shows, and they have the big stars and stuff like that. But people don't really feel the need to watch New Japan on Access TV because the shows are taped and they're a couple weeks old and the results are already out and things like that.
And the vast majority of New Japan fans in the United States have World and watch the show through New Japan World. So they're already caught up on it. So, I mean, those are the people that watch on Access are all bonus fans. So they're significantly better at selling tickets than Impact is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Shrey, I got a question. Do Good Brothers got something on Scott the way they are booked? I mean, they must have something because here they must have something on the guy. Here's my question to you, JD, and I guess to the chat. Good Brothers are re-signing, right? I mean, they have to be.
I said it last week. They're not going anywhere. Why go anywhere? Like, they have great lives. They're getting paid really well, right? They do draw interest. They do, when they do stuff, people do care and they do watch. They are a legit connection to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which helps Impact, and they get paid a lot of money to do very little, right? And Scott thinks they're stars because they kind of are. So I don't see them going anywhere. Like, and they're going to win that tag. And you know what? Here's the thing too: they have legitimate heat with this audience. The New Japan, the Impact. They so much TNA stuff tonight.
It took me forever to stop calling them TNA, and now they got me doing it again.
Now it's back. They have the Impact audience legitimately hates the Good Brothers. Like old Doc and Carl have found a way to be legitimately hated in this audience that doesn't want to hate anybody. Like, everybody loves heels. They hate the Good Brothers. They figured out the way to get people to hate you is to half-ass your work. Right? That's what they do.
Yeah.
Their work is fine, but it's below their standard, so it makes people mad. It's I don't know if it's a good experiment, but it's what they're doing, and it's making them money. It doesn't help my viewing experience, but it's working for them. So I don't know.
Yeah. And then we got Godilla Jonte Brown. Where does Sammy and Moose go from here? And what would you do? I think this is a feud killer. I think that Moose has a torn labrum and he is probably going to be out for a little while. And then I think Sammy, he's going to find his way back into a feud with Eddie Edwards because they reverse roles and Sammy's the babyface and Eddie's the heel, and they just can't seem to not wrestle each other. So I think that's where we go here with Sammy Moose. And then Moose comes back, and then we'll see what the landscape is whenever he comes back from his injury.
In my experience with torn labrums, which we've had several on my high school wrestling team, that's a 6-month surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had that too, right? How long?
Oh, yeah.
How long were you
got that one right there, and then I got. Well, you can't really see it. This one was a scope on the other one, but I've had 2.
How long was that for you?
But both 6 months. Yeah.
6. So Moose, I would not expect to see Moose back till the end of the year.
Yeah, but also Moose is on those really good supplements. He's got the 10 cc's of Diana Ball a day, baby. So he might heal a little bit faster. Plus, he's a freak athlete. So
he is a freak athlete. So I will say don't expect him at the end of the year, but you never know. Could be back for Bound for Glory. Who knows?
Yep. All right. Last question before we go. Thoughts on DI and Vince Russo. So DI's Disco Inferno. I know people question their booking, but I have always said that Vince's style was better in terms of popping a rating. And also Vince almost came back in 2020 before COVID. So here's my thing about Russo. he does a good job of popping a rating, but then there's no substance after that that keeps the audience's attention. So what he feels like he has to do is continue to do car crash and throw shit at the wall and hope something sticks, and none of it is ever sustainable. But Vince did a really good job when he was the offensive coordinator and Vince McMahon was the head coach in WWE, and that was where he sustained his most success. But you know what? I also think that rightly or wrongly, I think Russo got blamed for a lot of the bad stuff in TNA when really Jeff Jarrett and Dutch Mantel were just as responsible for a lot of the bad stuff in TNA too. So it's a double-edged sword with him. But I think Russo is probably one of the more overrated creative minds in wrestling history.
I love your football analogy. Love your football analogy. Remember the option? For a long
Yeah.
time in college football, the option was the stuff, and it was untouchable, and everybody was running the option. Nobody run the option anymore, right? The game evolved, moved past it. We don't do that anymore. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about Vince Russo's booking. Like it worked in an era, and if you go back and look at it, stuff's not as good as you remember it being. Like the Attitude
Mhm.
Era has not aged very well. Eric Bischoff's WCW aged better than Vince Russo's WWF did. It just did. Like, and Vince Russo will he loves to not take the blame when things go wrong. But watch AJ Styles. I tell this because Garrett Kidney's show just went over this, so it's fresh in my mind. Watch AJ Styles' first two World Championship wins. They're all about Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Right? Russo is holding the title and kissing it after AJ beat Jeff Jarrett. Both times, by the way. Like, both times. It's all about Vince Russo. Like, and you can't tell me he's great at popping ratings. He didn't pop ratings in WCW, right? And all his booking did was lose money for WCW. Like the David Arquette thing. Oh, he got people talking. Yeah, but nobody bought Slamboree. That was 3 weeks later. So
Yeah.
like popping ratings doesn't matter, especially when you own you own your network. They ain't gonna cancel Impact, right? You need to worry about selling tickets and selling pay-per-views, and that is not what Vince Russo is good at. Never has been.
I'm very much of the opinion that you don't go backwards, and I think that pulling people in from 20 years ago is never really a good idea. Look what Vince just did a couple years ago when he hired Paul Heyman, who is known as one of the great minds of all time, but they brought in Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff to run their respective brands, and they were both ass backwards. Bischoff got fired in a couple weeks, and then Heyman lasted a little bit longer. But you're bringing in minds from over 20 years ago that haven't really been a part of the product in a long time.
I agree with you in theory, but those guys are set up to fail because when you go to work to be in charge of creative in WWE, you're not in charge of creative in WWE.
That's true.
Like that's Bill Watts. They brought in Bill Watts. Bill Watts made it 2 weeks and said there's only room for one Titan in Titan Sports. That's where we're at now. That's why everyone's laughing about Vince stepping down as CEO. He's still running creative. Like in this, shades like Vince Russo didn't kill WCW. No, but he tried really hard. Eric Bischoff killed WCW. Eric Bischoff tried a lot harder to kill WCW. Ultimately, what killed WCW is the fact they wanted to sell the company. Like, and they were looking for reasons. Like, Turner was unloading all of their debt into WCW. Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff made a lot of bad decisions money wise. Vince Russo hastened the decision along, and then when they were together, it was even worse.
Right. Well, I don't think that Time Warner would have sold WCW if they were still profitable, which they were not, because they were losing money hand over fist with their bad spending, their poor ideas, and they couldn't draw any more audience.
That too, and that too is we also had a change in company culture. So that's when AOL comes in, and you bring in a bunch of guys who really don't like wrestling, right? We have a different generation of people running TV who television wrestling is not the black eye as it was to the baby boomer generation when they were in control of things. So the world is different, but again, I'm not a fan of Vince Russo booking. Like again, I can point back to large chunks of the existence of this promotion and be like, this was good, this was bad. And a lot of times, the stuff that was bad was the main event stuff that Vince Russo had his fingerprints all over. Like, what does everybody look back on? It's like the X Division stuff, right? It's like the Motor City Machine Guns. That's the stuff we all love, and that's largely the undercard that doesn't get nearly as much attention. So it has a chance to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining in on the chat here. We went live on YouTube right here on Fight Game Media. If you like this content, head over to patreon.com/fightgamemedia and join our subscription service. We go each and every Thursday night Sometimes Friday morning is when it gets released. We do a full show. So we recap Impact every week, and then we talk about all the news that's revolving around Impact and some Impact adjacent promotions, and then kind of whatever the hot news is at the time. And if it affects Impact, great. If not, we still talk about it sometimes. So we actually just dropped a breaking news audio. We're talking about Aunt Dixie making her return to Slammiversary. We dropped that Friday night. So you get cool nuggets like that. So patreon.com/FightGameMedia. It's only $5 a month. So head on over there and join us each and every week. But JD, before we go, do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm taking a break. I'm finishing a book about a professional wrestling adjacent book. So I'm sick of writing about wrestling at the moment, but I'll be back.
Yeah, and I know we all can't wait for that book to come out. I'm excited to read it. And Official Little Silver reminds us that Impact Wrestling every week on Thursdays on Access TV at 8/7 Central, or if you're in Hawaii where the sun is shining every single day, it comes on at 2 p.m. while I'm at work, so I have to come home and watch it on DVR immediately as soon as I get here, and so we can do our podcast. But and the New Japan's after Impact on
which is
10/9 Central on Access TV.
Which is why we do our podcast at 12 o'clock at night on early Friday mornings here in Chicago, and why I'm often cross-eyed by the end of the show.
Yeah. But hey, that's going to do it for us. Catch us this Thursday night. And until then, mahalo.